So the concept really is a new employer wants to hire someone new full-time in the state of Connecticut. It's beneficial for all of us, right? In fact, it's what the governor just talked to us about recently in his workforce development being a top priority. I think that's pretty much all of us across the board. You hire a new employee, they stay with you for a year, likely they're going to stay with you longer too. After they finish their first year with you, the tax credit of 2% of their income would be credited back to the business. Average income, let's say, of $65,000 person, right? You hire someone at a business, $65,000, 2% for someone coming in, or 2.5% if they're from unemployment or if they're a veteran. On average, the employee pays about 5% of their salary back to the state, and the employer about 15%. You're looking at what the state receives is about, on that $65,000 a year job, about $13,000 back from a new employee hire, right? This would give a tax credit to the business of about $1,300. That's just after their first year. It's a one-time thing. So this isn't the first time this was done. This ran 2012 to 2015 in the state as a dollar incentive, not a percentage. And I did a little more research on it, and I found that was the second time that was done. And the first time it ran was in the 70s when Ella Grasso put it in. And it was successful for her as well. If this were to come through in the same numbers that ran for those 4 years we had it recently, you're talking about 7,000 jobs. And at this cost to be about a $9.1 million cost to the state to put this up. But it's not really a cost. This is new revenue. These are people who aren't full-time now. These are people who are not working full-time in the state of Connecticut. So now we have an opportunity for new revenue that promotes new business and promotes existing business growing in this state. And the upside of that is the rest of that money that person is paying, that individual is paying, who now has a full-time job in this state. It's again, not only new revenue, but you're talking over that same time frame with 7,000 people, what could equate to about $81 million in new revenue for a $9 million cost. So if you look at it that way, you know, if any of us who've ever owned or run a business had a chance of a 9-time return on your investment, sure. But the biggest thing, and I'll make this quick, I know I'm over my time, I'll make it very quick. Every single one of us goes back to our district. We talk to the business owners in our district and we say, we support you. We want to help you. This is a way for us to help them grow, to help the state grow, and everyone truly benefits from this. This is action. It's very, very simple for us to come up with concepts and ideas. But to put it in action that truly helps a business grow and help the state grow, I think this is right on point.
Yes, they might be hiring that new person, but this credit would help offset some of the costs that business takes on for hiring that new person too. Especially I think of the small manufacturers that struggle with apprenticeships and the ability to have one full-time employee training another full-time employee, then you get less productivity out of both of them. You know, this helps offset some of the costs. Was that some of the thinking behind this credit in the first place? Absolutely.
Thank you, Representative. That's one of the big pieces behind this, offset that cost, as well as when you look at this too, it's still a risk. Right? No matter who it is, you're hiring a full-time person, it's a risk. That risk can be turned into the equipment. It can be turned into a more cushion for them on that risk if they're hiring someone at a higher salary as well. So there's a lot of places that can be highlighted.
And previously when this credit took place, was it split up between hiring veterans and unemployed people versus a different percentage for employed people, or was it all the same credit percentage?
When I proposed it last time, it was a higher percentage for unemployed and veterans as well. And the numbers, that savings piece doesn't even include the cost of savings from taking someone off of unemployment too, the amount of money that we would incentivize to take them off of that too.
And when the credit was in place, I know you quoted 2012 to 2015 in your testimony. Was there that bifurcation back then as well, or was it just one set rate for the tax?
It was, I believe, it was an incentive for unemployment.
There was.
Not for the veterans, yeah.
Okay, so you're proposing adding veterans to
Absolutely.
to it if we were to reinstitute this. And you had mentioned that, you know, you're proposing here only 2.5% for veterans and unemployed, and then 2% for non-veterans. And you said in the past it was much higher than that. Do you know what was the credit before? What percentage of the income it was before?
It was a set dollar amount.
Okay.
Which is a lot more difficult. Let's say it was a $500 amount, which when you're hiring someone at a $100,000 salary, that business probably isn't going to feel that $500 as much as if this way it's a sliding scale. So as the more you're investing into our workforce, the more you're receiving back in that workforce.